After 2.5 very long days of learning and sharing and being a community, we're almost at an end. I'm just going to quickly wrap up. First of all, thank you, Greg, for coming in and facilitating a session. I'm sure everybody enjoyed that. If I could ask David, Seb, Charlotte and Sarah just to come out the front. I'm just going to ask them for 2 key points or 2 things that they felt was really important about the conference from their perspective. Up you come. I do want you up here so everyone can see you. So down the end we have Sarah Lee from EAUC, for anyone who doesn't remember. David, obviously our keynote this morning. Seb Crawford is from UTS. And Charlotte, right down the end there, is from NUS UK. I thought this was a good variety of people to come up and just give their perspective on the conference. Seb, let's start with you. If you can just quickly sum up in a minute or so what you took from the conference, that would be great.
Yeah, I've had a good conference at both kind of a head and a heart level. And I'll give you sort of maybe 2 examples there. I've come away with a greater appreciation of the amazing stuff that the VT and TAFE sector is doing in integrating teaching and sustainability into teaching and learning. I've been to a couple of great sessions. I thought the discussion that happened after sort of all part of the panel yesterday around that, and lots of discussions with individuals, and it's given me a lot of inspiration to sort of take that back into my university and think about how I can facilitate it better. So that's that. But at a heart level, I came here feeling a little bit like the wind was still knocked out of me after the federal election, and like, how do we work with this government and the power structure that's going to be built around this government? And yet I've had so many really, really powerful speeches, including the last one today from David, where I just really feel energised again. I just feel that actually, I think when I'm surrounded by so many people that actually share the passion and the vision that I do, it's actually not going to be a negative. And I think Charlotte said the same yesterday, that's what's happened in the UK. And so I sort of feel actually quite charged up again. So that's really nice.
Thanks, Seb. I hope everybody had the same sort of experience that Seb did. It sounds like you had a good time, which is great. Thank you so much. And I do want you leaving here feeling energised and motivated to go ahead no matter what challenges or barriers may be around you. David, would you like to give us a summary?
Heavens above, I thought I've just about given everything this morning. I've had an amazing week. On Monday, I had a whole lot of work to do, and I did that and thought, I'm going downhill. Then I met David Suzuki on Tuesday, and that after his talk, we all privately met with him, and it was just wonderful. That man blew me away. His humanity, his passion, he just incredible. And that gave me a bit of hope. And Tim Flannery was there too, and Tim was recounting how they've moved from the Commission to the Climate Council, as Ian Lowe was telling us on Wednesday. And that was just fantastic, that crowdsourcing had raised $480,000 by Tuesday night for the Climate Council to keep going. That was fantastic. Then I came here just not really knowing what to expect, but I think, like Seb, I've just been blown away by the enthusiasm, and it really is up to us. We're the ones that are going to make the difference. And if enough of us keep talking, and if enough of us get on to GetUp and those other web-based sort of petition sites, we can influence politicians, because they now watch those all the time. Because they see 300,000 signatures on a petition going through change.org. They start to think, gee, they're all voters, aren't they? I better listen to this. So use that sort of resource. I was disappointed yesterday. I didn't get the same thrill that Seb got out of the panel that was here with the senior executives, because I think that there's no leadership. We're not seeing that leadership. And my worry is that they're all beholden to their funders, whoever the funders might be. The Commonwealth Government's pulling out of university funding, so we're going out to industry, we're going to the coal miners, and we're getting, I know that's in Queensland certainly, we're getting funding there that is actually inhibiting what we want to do as people in this room. So we really have a big task ahead of us. We've got to maintain our hope budget, because human beings pull through. We're incredibly innovative creatures, and if things start to look bad, we find solutions. But remember those 4 things. We've got to have fear, immediacy, we've got to have hitting in the pocket cost, and we've got to have some leaders. And I'm worried about where the leaders are in the university sector.
I think they're sitting in the room. I just don't think they're identifying themselves as leaders, but they definitely are. Thanks, David. Sarah, would you like to give us a wrap up?
I think this is I think this has been an absolutely brilliant conference. It's very different to what we have in the, with the EAUC. It's far more personable, and I have got so much out of talking to all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, and a real honour for me, actually. I think we've been talking about change quite a lot this morning, and we're all facing challenges, and it doesn't matter sort of where we are. That with the previous people have just said, we have all got we've got the energy, and we've just got to keep going on with that. And the other thing that I wanted to say is the international links that we have is just really, really important, and I want to continue to strengthen those. So thank you very much, and please, if we can do anything from our side of the pond, please get in contact. Happy to share any resources that we have, and we'd love to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah, and I'd reiterate that as ACTS members, you do have access to all of EAUC's resources, which is a brilliant thing for you to utilise. But more importantly, by maintaining our international links, we're not reinventing the wheel, and we're strengthening our voice as a sector. And it's really important that we understand that we don't need to be competitive. We can be collaborative, and as an entire sector across the globe, we can have more impact than we even realise at this moment. So thanks, Sarah. Charlotte, would you like to give a last wrap-up?
So I guess I kind of came to this conference and similarly to Sarah, kind of expecting a sort of EAUC style thing. So I really wanted to step up and give a student perspective on the matter, and sort of give you our vision for what it should be like for students studying at university, both in the UK and Australasia. And I met with some student environment networks to sort of prepare, and I prepared my strategy. Students should be leaving university as part of the solution, not the problem. And institutions should be hubs for sustainability in the heart of their community, and universities should be moral leaders. And then I sort of came here almost kind of waiting to argue my point, and you're all just so personable, and you'll just get it. And it's such a great community to be a part of, and it's been really inspiring, not only to sort of see the kind of work that you're doing over here. I've taken so much back from that, but I've also taken so much back from the way that you run your innovative workshops. I've got so many notes on sort of cutting apples, to talk about the sort of size of the earth. I've got so many notes on how I'm going to run meetings from now on, and how I'm going to get people to stand up and wiggle about before we start talking. And I've learnt loads, and there's loads for me to take back to the UK, and I didn't quite realise how much that there would be. But I hope that you've also taken something away from our perspective, and if there's anything, as Sarah said, if there's anything that we can do, if you want to run our projects, if you just want to keep in touch with the student movement in the UK, if you want any advice, if you want to give me any advice, I would just love to stay in touch. So just thanks for having me. And I love Australia.
You could come back, Charlotte.
Yes. If you could sort the summer out for me, that'd be
Oh, no problem. Yeah, we'll try that for you. It is really important to consider the student perspective because, as been mentioned by Greg, they are essentially our customers. I know we struggle at Macquarie to get good student engagement, so to hear what's happening in the UK and to hear the enthusiasm and passion of the NUS and people like Charlotte, it's really invigorating because you hope that someday we'll have the same thing happen here and we'll have that really strong student movement to help push us from the grassroots as well. I just want to say a last few words myself. There's been a team of people behind putting this conference together. They're not in the room, but I do acknowledge all that they've done, particularly Rhiannon and Sue, and even my own. Is she still here? Sarah Jo? Where are you? One of my team members, Sarah Jo Steinhoff, she's just ducked out. She was Miss Green Gowns last night. She's also put an awful lot of work. So if we could just give them a round of applause, even though they won't hear us, that would be great. Thank you. I always look forward to seeing people from the university and TAFE sector in this environment because sometimes you do get despondent in doing what we do because there is a lot of brick walls and there's a lot of no's and sometimes that can drag you down. And if you get to that point, particularly if you're in a small team, if you get to a point where you do feel as if you're getting dragged under, then remember these moments and these times when you've been in the different sessions and the workshops and you've been surrounded by people who you know are also enthusiastic and passionate, and draw from that. If you need to, call up one of your colleagues and have a conversation. You know, all of us are willing to help each other. There's no time for competition, there's no time for secrets. We need to work together and head towards how we achieve sustainability at a holistic level in campuses. Thank you all for travelling here from near and far. I hope that we will see you all next year in Hobart, which I'm sure will be an excellent conference. I'm looking forward to going down there, and the International Green Gowns being down there as well. Thank you once again. Please go and enjoy your last meal with us and have safe travels back home as well. Thank you.
Before you go, and I think it's very important that we thank Leanne, because I think she's done a remarkable job. She said to me before this morning's session that she was a little bit worried that it wasn't going too well, and she's had a few moments in the afternoon saying, oh, I could have done that better, I should have done this, I should have done... And I tried to reinforce and say that what she's done is absolutely fantastic. I'm very impressed with what I've seen, and I think we should all put our hands together for Leanne.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Unnecessary, but thank you. So go and have some lunch and have your last moments of networking and mingling, and we'll see you all in a year's time.